Hey Ringside crew, welcome to the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. And now here's your host, Joe Panther III.
Hey, hello there, wrestling fans, and welcome to another episode of the internationally known Dudes at Ringside podcast. I am Joe Panther III, and with this being the 4-year anniversary of Dudes at Ringside podcast, that we've talked to so many fun people from England, Scotland, Portugal, everywhere in the world, podcasters up the wazoo, YouTubers, you name it, we've had it, James Axel, and much more. But today, I am bringing back an awesome woman that came on the podcast last year, I think. This is the second version. Of course, this is part 2. But she is doing big things. Now she's doing fun things backstage and promoting. Welcome back, my guest, Xenia. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Hi, thank you for having me. It's good to be back. And oh my gosh, it's anniversary season for the podcast. So it's double the honor of being here.
Yeah, and it's like 4 years, and it's like, it's an adventure. And like everybody always asks me, like, what was your favorite moment? Who like this and that? But just having a reunion with wrestlers and podcast and YouTubers like yourself, that like when we first decided to do it, I was just thinking, okay, she seems cool. She seems chill. And you are chill. You're really cool. As I said, you have the same type of energy that I do. You bring you're excited. You love independent wrestling as much as I do. But now I see that you're doing so much more. So like, explain to my fans, what have you been up to since the last time we were in the studios?
Yeah, so since the last time that I was here, I actually started on a new venture. I do media development for wrestlers and wrestling promotions now. And it was a natural continuation of everything that I've been doing this whole time. I've been creating content for 7 years. And I've been doing broadcasting and interviews and ring announcing. And I feel like with social media and with my education, and I do have a master's in communications, I've accumulated so much knowledge. And I've also accumulated so much knowledge of wrestling as an industry. I've seen over 40 promotions across 4 different continents and so many languages that I feel like it's time for me to share that knowledge. So now I help wrestlers and promoters grow their socials, monetize them, increase their sales when it comes to ticket sales, and overall just have a bigger, better online presence. And I actually also have free webinars every Monday at 2 p.m. ET, and all wrestling professionals, and that includes promoters, wrestlers, broadcasters, referees, photographers, blah, 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 you name it. Everyone who works in wrestling to one extent or another is welcome to check them out. You can click the link in my bio. This is my social media handle right here. And the more the merrier. I'm trying to spread positivity, knowledge, and information about this industry, because a lot of people are leaving a lot of money on the table by not fully engaging in their potential in the industry.
Yeah, it's crazy because like when it comes to like the internet and like promoting yourselves, I've met so many wrestlers that they don't use social media. Like I don't know if you notice this, I interview a lot more female wrestlers than male wrestlers, and I've asked the male wrestlers, what do you do? Like, how do you promote stuff? You want to hear the goofy thing? You're gonna laugh. They tell themselves they just naturally see people and talk to them.
Well, it's always good to network. It's not a bad thing, but my favorite word is scalable. Like, how scalable is it? Are you going to be able to talk to 1,000, 2,000, 10,000 people in one day? Probably not. You just don't have that time in your day. And when it comes to social media, it helps you have that reach. It doesn't have to be one-on-one every time anymore. Now we have the technology to where it can be 1 to 1,000, 1 to 10,000, 1 to 100,000. And that's just going to make your efforts so much more effective, so much more efficient.
Yeah. And it's funny, when I message the female wrestlers, they all respond back, oh my gosh, I didn't see your message. It's in the request box. That could be that's also the other thing that I don't know if you bring that up in your things you do, webinars. I know English just happens to be every episode, and sometimes my words go and I'm like, hey, the hyperactive version of me, like, let's speed him up a little bit. He's going a little slow. Like, Do you ever explain that to some of the wrestlers with social media? Sometimes you have to check your request box a little harder.
I definitely do, and I definitely explain the mechanics of social media to people a lot because we're in a very fast-paced world. There's a lot of updates, there's a lot of new things all the time, a lot of new features, and it is sometimes difficult to keep up with. But also, as an entertainment professional, you can't afford to not know to use them properly, and you can't afford to misuse features of platforms and risk coming across as outdated or not modern enough or not savvy enough. It's definitely something that can be a bit of a learning curve, but I always tell people that there's nothing scary about it. Once you climb that learning curve, it becomes your second nature. It becomes natural, it becomes easy. It's not going to be something that is so daunting and something that adds to your schedule and something that's so like unnatural to you. No, if it feels unnatural, you're doing it wrong. And this is what I'm here for, to help you place it into your schedule and make it a part of your life to where it's not unnatural and it's not annoying.
As being a YouTuber and a podcaster now for 9 years, my question for you is, do you feel that there's a certain time to load videos better than others?
Definitely, and that depends on your audience. That depends on their activity specifically. Some platforms allow us to see what your audience's activity times are. So, for example, on Instagram, if you go to your professional dashboard, you will see day by day what time of day your audience is the most active, and this is what you can base your decisions off of. When it comes to socials that don't give you that information, you can kind of figure it out still. If you're in a certain geographical location, you can look at the time zones. If you provide a certain kind of content, for example, if it has to do directly with a show, like pre-shows or post-shows or predictions, for example, that can give you some ideas of when and where to place it, right? But ultimately, it depends fully on your audience, specifically on your followers.
Awesome. So with you working with promotions, when it comes to I see the videos you make about the shows, do you have to dig deep into the roster? I see you worked with POW, awesome people, love
Awesome
the
people,
promoters,
amazing.
very,
Yeah,
very
it was
sweet.
actually my first time working with them, and I had such an amazing time. It was a great show.
Awesome. I love the POW people. Is it still the husband and wife that owns it?
Yeah.
Those people are very sweet. I've been working
They're
with them in a long time, actually for 3 years, I think. If you speak to them, tell them Joe Panther says hi, and
Okay.
definitely they can get, if they do, I don't know. Some people, how you doing? See you later. Thanks for working me. Lock that door. She's too tall. We got scared. She stomped on our furniture. She squashed our little girl. She got squashed, our puppy.
No, I would never. I'm like those, like really big, like lanky dogs who are like extra cautious around smaller dogs. This is me.
No, I meant the shorter wrestlers. She stepped on our poor luchador. He'll never recover.
No.
all our smaller female wrestlers are still cowering in the corner.
No, their female wrestlers are very tough. Their women's champion is Mercedes Martinez. And
Oh, wow.
she's absolutely lovely, but I'm scared of her. She's awesome.
Do you do any backstage interviewing with them, or do you just do it on your own?
No, I haven't done any backstage interviewing with them. I just did like content promos for them, but I'm open to it in the future. And I still do backstage interviews for some other promotions here locally in Florida and beyond.
Awesome. I started doing backstage interviewing at High Grounds Pro Wrestling, and I don't know if you got a chance to see any of my stuff on Instagram. Everybody's like, the people are like, wow, people love the way they're like, you're a natural. I go into it differently than most people. I don't know how you prepare yourself with the interview. Like, how would you prepare yourself for an interview? Do you research the wrestler, or you just go by what you've seen so far?
It depends on the kind of interview. If we're doing like a longer, be it run and gun or sit down, but a longer interview for my channel, and my interviews are mostly shoot interviews. Like, depending on the characters, sometimes they will be somewhere on that edge, but I prefer shoot interviews. So for those, I do all the research that I possibly can. I watch their other interviews, I research their socials, I research their wrestling history, their past matches, their past promotions, their appearances, what their hobbies might be. So I just try to find things that they haven't talked about yet on the internet, or they haven't talked about extensively, that they mentioned but they haven't really dwelled into. But when it comes to backstage interviews, it's different. It's more based on the dynamics of the show itself. So of course you have to be familiar with the card. Of course you have to check in with the promoter, and if there's any long running storylines that you're not aware of, if you're new, you have to check with that, and you have to ask the promoter and the talent what they're trying to further. Is there any kind of message that they want to deliver? And then based off, if it's post-match, right, or if it's pre-match, based off what's happening on the show and what the vibe is, if you're also producing them, which whenever I do backstage interviews, usually I produce them as well. That's how you find the location. That's how you find the dynamic. Is it going to be an interview? Is it going to be a promo? How are they treating you? What's the dynamic with you? Are they pissed because they lost their match, so they might want to grab the mic or shove you or something else? Are they running off after the interview, or are they doing an intense stare to the camera? And all of that depends on the dynamic of the show and of the storyline. So this is definitely more based off of in the moment things, but they're not really in the moment. They're more like, half hour before the interview, half hour after the interview, what's happening and what will happen.
I had my first encounter with a tag team. The guy, me and my dad were sitting there, Papa Panther was sitting there before. I've never ever had a chance to be there early when the wrestlers are getting ready, and they had one guy came in and he was so cool. I didn't get a chance to interview that day. He's like a gothic wolfish character. He came in his gear, like straight up. Like he came in with the cape that day. He wears like a cape. Like you looked like your jacket that in your promo picture you sent me, but you wear like a black outfit with like a black cape with the fur on the shoulders and a little crown with the point in the front and everything. And I looked at the promoter. I said, "Mom, this guy's already in gear." He's like, "Who are you? I'm Joe Panther the Third. How you doing, please, sir? How you doing?" And he's like, "Yes, you always have to come in character." I'm like, even when you're coming out of your house, did they say anybody call the cops because you look like you're coming out of like some kind of old school movie? He's like, "I like this guy already. It's pretty funny."
I mean, you don't necessarily have to show up in full character, but one thing that I definitely agree with is when it comes to any kind of segments, any kind of on-screen or meet and greet or live situations, when you're wearing your normal clothes as a worker, you're not wearing your normal clothes. You're wearing the normal clothes that your character would have. So for a horror character, yes, it makes perfect sense to be that character when you're outside of the ring. I actually had this conversation with one of my friends here locally, where he had his match, wrestled, he was watching the show from the crowd from that moment on out, and I was like, "Oh, but you're a babyface. Why are you booing another babyface?" And he was like, "Well, I'm not working right now." And I was like, "No. While you're at the venue, you're working. There's not a moment that you're not working. You're surrounded by fans. You're surrounded by fellow talent. There's storylines. There's your character that you have to uphold. So there's really no such thing as I worked my match and now I'm not working. No. If you have a show day from the moment that you step foot into the venue up until the moment that you leave, or maybe even beyond, if fans are waiting for you outside, you're working 100%.
Awesome. So do you I've been asking this to a lot of wrestlers and some other people have been on the show. When it's time for that, do you how far have you traveled within the United States for a show?
I've traveled outside of the United States for show. I've traveled very far for shows. The furthest, which technically I didn't travel for that show, but I did go to that show. So technically the furthest I've traveled for wrestling would be China.
Wow. China?
And unfortunately, it was not a local promotion. It was a WWE house show. And like I said, if we go into the formalities, I did not travel for the show. I used to work for a Chinese company, so I was there for work, but I did go to that show. But in terms of traveling for a show, honestly, again, I've traveled from the US to London. I've traveled from Russia when I was living there to Las Vegas in America, to New York in America. So I've the furthest you can travel, I've traveled.
I definitely got to put a good word when I go back to PPW, or on Saturday when I go to High Grounds. I'll definitely mention them. High Grounds is not a very big promotion. They do a lot of smaller venues. They do one that's in Mayfield, PA. The place is called the Falcons Nest, and it's very small. And when I showed up at this venue, I'm a fan, so I'm used to going through the front door. Door didn't open. I'm like, okay, maybe I'm early. And I said, "Oh, maybe it's this door." So I open the door, and it's like this hallway with like 3 different doors of stairs, and I see a red curtain with an X on it, and I'm just like, I'm like,
I can know where this is going.
my dad, it felt like mystery door. I was like, which door is it? Like a haunted house. Like it felt like I felt like I was in a Scooby-Doo cartoon. I was like, I go through the door and then I go through the other door. I was like, my dad's a CEO, ex-CEO, so he's like, you better yell before you just run to that curtain. You don't know what you're going into. You could be going to end up like in the scene like in RoboCop. Like, Murphy, no, like, it's me, Joe. So like, and then in my mind, I didn't realize I went through the curtain, like the wrestler's curtain, and I'm standing there, and I'm just like,
yeah, if you see a curtain with a like wonky looking X on it, that's Gorilla. That's you're there.
and I was just like, oh my god, I went through the curtain. I didn't realize they did it. And they were like, the promoter, really cool, really sweet, named Dawn, and she's like, I ever, doing this podcast, I would think maybe my theme song would be the intro that you saw before we did the show. She's like, what would be your theme song? And I'm just thinking, that's a hard question for me because I listen to 80s, 90s music, and I'm like, what song will hit me with the bangers? I'm just like, Bobby Brown's On Our Own. I'm like, no, Bobby Brown's My Prerogative. And I'm thinking, my mom's like, you didn't choose Bobby Brown's My Prerogative? How dare you, Randy? That's the song that you, every chance you could ask, because my dad's a DJ. And my dad's like, Randy, every time you had a party with us, you always ask him to play Bobby Brown's My Prerogative. How could you not do that to yourself? And then I was like, Bobby Brown's My Prerogative. I'm stupid. I can't spell. So I'm like, Bobby Brown's My Prerogative. So everybody's like, that's really your theme song, Joe? I was like, yes. Because it says My Prerogative. I could do what I wanted to. Like, yeah.
Honestly, for me, like one of the moments like in my career in wrestling where it was like not even like an I made it moment, but more like, oh, like this is real, was when I got to like make an entrance to my own music for the first time. Like that was like, wow, like yeah, I'm doing it, I think.
So what if you had to choose a song, what would be like your entrance song?
I have my entrance song. It's an original song. It's like it's a remix. Like don't tell anyone who said that, but it's actually like based off the beat from Post Malone's Psycho. But it's like so unrecognizable to where it's like not a copyright issue anymore. Like it's just completely like it's the only thing that's the same is like the beat, but even the B&B is different. But it's an original track and it's my entrance music, and I have my
Post, if you're watching this, bro, I don't know how or why this lady wants a theme song. Post Malone. I don't know how you be watching dudes.
Yes, please. Like that's my dream. Yes, I want an entrance song by Post Malone. So yeah, I have two dreams. Dream number one is entrance song by Post Malone, but if not, and that one is way more feasible because I actually know them in real life, is an entrance song by Downstate. I feel like that's like a rite of passage at this point in wrestling. I know them in real life. Like I could commission it, but I feel like it has to like come to a moment where I would like deserve it, where I have to like be like big enough for a Downstate entrance song.
You never know. He may see you and be like, that girl needs a theme song, man. That's how he would say it. He'd be like, hi, wow, girl, you tall. I like your legs.
He'd be like, he's tall too. He would be looking down on me. He's really tall.
I would think Post Malone's not tall. I don't know why. I think everybody.
He's like 6'3", I think. He's pretty tall.
What am I thinking? I'm thinking of somebody else. I'm thinking of another country/rap guy.
Yeah, maybe. I actually saw him in concert like a week ago.
Lucky.
For the third time. I'm a big Post Malone fan. Like he's my favorite artist of all time. I have two favorite artists of all time: him and Fall Out Boy. So
Fall Out Boy is awesome. I love Fall Out Boy.
I love Fall Out Boy. I have a tattoo for a Fall Out Boy song. Oh, you can see it. This one is my favorite Fall Out Boy song is Sunshine Riptide. So it's a Sunshine Riptide.
I like this. I like when he did the thing for the female Ghostbusters movie. They did a cover of the Ghostbusters song.
Yeah.
At first I didn't like it because I'm like, oh god, poor Fall Out Boy has to take the deadly chair shot by all the Ghostbusters 2016 haters. And then I'm like, I listened to it, and my poor Fall Out Boy has to take that barbed wire jump of fate, and it goes into the explosion. And we're like, oh god, he's dead. And like, so for you being at a show, what's like the smallest venue you've ever gone to?
Smallest?
Yeah.
I think that might have to be like the schools, because when you're working with a promotion closely, you will be at the tapings at schools, at the seminars at schools. So when I started out, like back in Russia, they would do weekly or bi-weekly tapings for their weekly show, and a lot of the time, especially over COVID, it would just be family and friends. So the venue has capacity, like it can handle up to maybe like 150 people. But for those tapings, when it was friends and family, obviously there would be like 20 people. But because you're friends and family, and because you're trying to make the product better, you have to act like you're 5 fans. Like you have to act like you're 5 people. You have to make the noise, you have to start the chants, you have to cheer, you have to boo. So it was honestly like a little taxing, those tapings. It's like you're working, like you're a part of the scene at that point. But those were probably the smallest shows that I've gone to. But I don't discriminate, honestly. Like I like all kinds of wrestling, and for me, the quality of the show really doesn't depend on the size of the venue or the size of the crowd. And that's me saying that as a media professional. There are 1,000% other reasons why you're not drawing, in addition to like maybe the product not being quite right. Like the product could be amazing, the wrestling could be amazing, but your promotion could not be amazing, or your social media presence, or your advertising, and that's why you're not drawing. So it really doesn't define the quality of wrestling. Like I've definitely caught myself thinking before that, like, because again, I travel for wrestling and I'm at shows all the time. So I went to this one show, which I'm not going to name drop, of course, but it was a big venue. It was sold out to the point where they were turning people away. Like you could not fit anymore. And the wrestling was not great at all. Like it was not good. And then the following week, I went to another show at the school, like a weekly show, normal show, also not going to name drop, but small venue, super empty, like under 100 people, and such a good freaking show, like amazing wrestling. And I caught myself like thinking and telling my friends that like, how is this fair, but this is why people like me are here. Like this is why you need to know how to promote yourself. You need to know how to build your brand. You need to know how to do PR, how to do advertising, so that it doesn't happen, so that you're not hiding great wrestling away from the world inadvertently.
Yeah, like it could be a what's the word? It could be a what, I can't think of the word. It could be a two-edged sword. Either it could be like your triumphant moment that you sell out this room, this venue that everybody, all these other wrestling promotions come to, or you could be falling on the sword and then be the next week you're out of business.
Yeah. So that's why you have to be proactive about everything that you do. And that's one of the, I don't like the word mistakes, but that's one of the misconceptions that I see a lot when I talk to wrestlers who are trying to build their brand, where I ask them questions like, would you like to get signed? Would you like to grow in the indies? Would you like to get booked by this promotion? Would you like to start traveling with wrestling? And the answers are a lot of the time along the lines of, well, if they offer me a contract, I will say yes. Or like, well, if this happens, that's fine with me. Nothing is going to happen to you unless you actively work towards it. Like you have to have a goal in mind 100% of the time. And you're not going to meet 100% of your goals, because obviously that's not how life works, right? But you have to know where you're headed, because if you don't, nothing will magically ever happen to you.
Yeah. With you, have you been watching a lot of my interviews? Since I know you've been busy. You're a busy woman. So, like, have you had a chance
I'm a busy woman. I don't really have much time to watch things. Like, I try to, keep up with wrestling. So, like, I try to watch the products, like, of the major companies. I try to watch, like, the major shows that, are newsworthy. But I really don't have much time to watch much else. Like, I don't really watch shows. I don't really watch as much YouTube as I wish I could.
Yeah. When you're traveling, what is your favorite, like, little top secret restaurant that if you're out in that area, you're like, oh, I got to go there?
Oh, it's definitely not top secret, but like one of those that like, oh, it's in the area, I have to go, because we don't have it here in Florida, is In-N-Out. I'm obsessed with In-N-Out. Like if I'm somewhere where they have it, I could be there for 2 days and I can have it 4 times. I don't care. Like I need my fix. Like I like it so much. Another one is, it's a little fancier, but it's also a chain restaurant, is Din Tai Fung. It's like a Taiwanese dumpling place. And I love dumplings. It's one of my favorite foods ever. And I like Chinese dumplings and Taiwanese dumplings and Russian dumplings. So big dumpling person over here, biggest dumpling guy in the biz. But there's a lot of good places, but this one in particular is my favorite. And they don't have it on this coast at all. Like it's only either West Coast or even outside of the country. In England, they have it, for example. So whenever I get the opportunity, I go. And to the point where among my friends, it's like a joke now that like, oh, if Xenia took you to get dumplings, she really likes you.
It's so weird because like I was waiting for you to say Waffle House, and I was gonna steal muscle.
Yeah, Waffle
I'm
House.
doing it lately. If he's watching my podcast, I'm waiting for him to go, Joe, stop stealing my line. Like, whoa. Well, I met you in Philly, and I thought we were best friends. Be like, I've been asking wrestlers if they say, "Oh, I like Waffle House," and I'm like, "What? Oh, sorry to steal your line, muscle man." Yeah.
I actually saw Malcolm at WrestleCon when I was in Vegas, and we actually recorded a video where I asked him what his Waffle House order was.
I saw it, he was like, "What?"
Flip the script.
I was waiting for him to like ask me because I met him in Philadelphia. I went to my first AEW show I ever went to. My best buddy Dustin Jones, aka Balor Club guy, aka J Beans on the scene, because I give him that nickname because I'm Joe and I have funny nicknames for everybody. And we met. I talked to him, shook his hand. He's a big dude. I'm 5'1" and I'm a little peanut. I'd be in a baby Bjorn if we met. I'll be like, "Hi everybody, see, she's my Krang. I walk around. She walks me around." But I didn't, and I messaged him and I commented on one of his posts. I said, "It was nice to meet you, Muscle Man Malcolm, but I'm sad you didn't ask me my Waffle House order." And he's like, "I'm sorry, maybe next time." And I'm like, mine easily because I love strawberries. So mine would be 2 waffles with whipped cream and strawberries on it, with scrambled eggs with sausage links instead of the sausage patty because they're harder to eat. The links
Mine is a patty melt with pickles, with a side of hash browns, with Waffle House sauce. A lot of Waffle House sauce.
I gotta try that sauce because everybody says it's so good.
The best thing. It's like a spicy mayo, but better.
Ooh, okay.
Super good. But also recently, I actually went recently when we did River City Con. So, some friends were visiting from out of state, so we had to take them to Waffle House. And that was such a nice one, too. I think we accidentally went to, like, the best Waffle House in Florida. So shout out Waffle House in St. Augustine, Florida. You're really good.
But I guess I had to add that to the hashtag at the end in the bio. Waffle House. Yeah. Hashtag Waffle House.
But my friend's order, she gets like a bowl, so with hash browns and with grilled chicken. And I'd never had chicken at Waffle House before because it feels a little bit like it defeats the purpose. Like that's too healthy for Waffle House. But that was I tried some of hers and that was so good. So I think that might be my order for next time.
Every time I mention to someone at a Waffle House outside of the wrestling world, they go, "Yeah, go for the waffles, stay for the fights."
Oh yeah, I've seen people pull guns at Waffle House twice. Not once, but twice. But I also spent a lot of time in Jacksonville, so this should answer that question.
Yeah. Go heel. Be like, "Waffle House, I thought I was in Waffle House when I smelled gun smoke."
Well, that one in St. Augustine, next to the...
You'll be like, "I gotta go. I can't handle this show. See you later, click."
It's really good, really nice, really clean. The staff were super nice. That's... If I were to recommend, a Waffle House, that's the one I recommend.
You get nervous. You start going to click the leave studio button. You're like, "I can't take this from a career, Joe. Not what I'm doing now." Click. I'm like, "Well, I guess the episode's over."
No, but also just for you to understand the scale of how much I like Waffle House, I follow them on Instagram.
Oh, you gotta get a shirt that says "I heart." You gotta look for the shirt. "I heart Waffle House."
Are they watching this too? Can you send me a shirt, please? But they actually have a really good Instagram. From a professional standpoint, they have a really good Instagram.
I guess when I put your poster up, it's already tagged on the thing. I'm going to tag their Instagram page when the episode goes up. So
yes.
Guns.
Hopefully not real guns. We're talking about Waffle House. So.
I'm going to dance, waffle. Do the song from Teen Titans when I'm dying, I'm killing myself. When Beast Boys wants to waffles with. If you know, Teen Titans. In Teen Titans, there's a dance that Beast Boy does. He wants waffles. He's like waffles, 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 and he starts to twerk.
That's one way
Dedicated.
to indicate that you want waffles.
I don't know. Imagine they had that. It's like if you want a waffle, you have to twerk. I don't know. I'd be like,
But that can't work. Someone has to
Like-
teach me. Like, you know who has to teach me? Katie Forbes. She needs to teach me to twerk because she's the queen of twerk.
and again, there goes Joe. Joe, did you see Joe? It's coming around. Joe's getting all the female wrestlers are seeing that I'm telling a female reporter to twerk, and we're talking about Waffle House. And there's another one that I'm going to mention on this show. I don't know if you ever Buc-ee's.
Oh, I love Buc-ee's. We also just recently went to Buc-ee's because, again, the hotel that River City Con is taking place in is literally 6 minutes away from Buc-ee's.
Oh my
so
God.
You bet. I lived in Buc-ee's that weekend.
Did you get? I know someone that actually literally left with 2 bags full of like random Buc-ee's crap, like shirts.
That went with me.
Oh,
I got a shirt. I got the best kitchen spatula that I've ever seen in my entire life. It's made of birch, which is very characteristic for Russia. I don't know if you know, but birch are like a symbol of Russia. But it's like colorful. It's like primary colors. It's like, oh my God. I'm so obsessed with this spatula. I like cooking, if you couldn't tell, but I'm also obsessed with this spatula. I also got like mask patches thingies shaped like croissants.
Oh, geez.
I got just a bunch of snacks. I got like really good like white cheddar and habanero cheese puffs.
Ooh, that sounds good.
I couldn't eat them. I couldn't eat more than half a bag. They were so spicy, but they were really good.
You gotta do a food review on your channel.
What?
You should do it. You should have did a food review on how
I really
spicy.
I should have done like a Buc-ee's haul, but I think I was ashamed. I think the post Buc-ee's shame hit me, so I didn't want to show the world.
During my intro, did you notice that?
I got so much freaking crap from Buc-ee's. So.
Did you notice that the Buc-ee's in my intro at the end?
No, I didn't.
There's a female wrestler. You should definitely look.
Oh, she was wearing a shirt or a
yeah, she had the hoodie. She had the Buc-ee's hoodie on.
Oh my gosh, no, I don't get like the logo ones. I have a bunch of Buc-ee's merch, but I get like the cool ones. So they did like a monster truck one, so I got that one.
Oh God, it's a monster truck one.
I almost got like the rock concert one, but ultimately the monster truck won my heart.
What like here we go. If you saw a wrestling promotion using either like sponsorship or like what venue, which would you rather go to a show at if they asked you to promote outside of a Buc-ee's or outside of a Waffle House? Which one would get you to go?
Outside of a Buc-ee's, I think like this is such like there's a reason why so many wrestlers like it. Like Buc-ee is a worker. Like this, he knows what's up. Like there's merch, there's snacks, there's the pageantry. Like I feel like Buc-ee's is so wrestling coded. So 100%, I would love that.
Like I don't get it. I don't know how they haven't sponsored a wrestling venue, like a wrestling venue. Buc-ee's. That's another sponsor.
What are you doing?
I gotta. That's another one I gotta put in the hashtag Waffle House and Buc-ee's. Like,
there you go.
Is it Bucky like Bucky IE or is it Y? I always get it confused.
EUCC dash double ES, I think.
I gotta put that in the hashtag. But before we go, if my fans want to follow you on social media, how can they find you?
Like I said, this is my social media handle right here. Xenia did that. This is me. I'm just serving. This is me on all socials. This is me on Instagram, on Twitter, or X, on YouTube, youtube.com/@Xenia did that. And like I said, if you're a wrestling professional of any kind, any sort, if you do any kind of work in wrestling, whether you're a content creator or an artist or a photographer or a wrestler or a broadcaster or a referee, definitely click the link in my bio or check out my pinned post. I have free webinars every Monday just for you to check it out to see what it is that I talk about. But reach out to me. Let's lift you up to superstardom. Let's build your brand and make sure that you're making more money, because currently most wrestlers are only making 10% of what they could be making from wrestling. And with my YouTube, subscribe. There's a lot of fun interviews coming up. I still haven't posted the ones I got at WrestleCon. They're coming up. They're finally edited, so I'm posting them soon. And a bunch of BSW interviews are coming up as well. So never a dull moment. Check it out.
You seem like you got a lot going on, and I want to wish you nothing but the best of luck on all your promoting. And if you're a wrestler, again, as she said it, if you're watching this podcast, oh my gosh, thank you for coming in. Don't forget to follow me. My turn. If you want to follow me on Instagram, you can find me under Joe Panther. Wait, I'm doing like my friend now. Joe Panther the third on the Instagrams. If you want to follow this podcast, Dudes at Ringside, you can find us on Instagram under Dudes at Ringside. I wish I had like the Dudes at Ringside. You could also find us on Facebook under the Real Dudes at Ringside. Thank you so much again, bud. I'm Joe Panther the third.
I'm Xenia.
And we will catch you in the next one.